everyone. Happy to see you here today. Well, before we dig into the presentation, let me tell you a couple of words about myself. My name is Елена Цимбалюк, and I'm a certified teacher trainer. I'm also a methodologist with the School of Tatiana Feinstein. I teach high levels. My students are advanced and upper intermediate levels, and most of them are teachers. I've been teaching a lot of big groups, both online and offline. My biggest offline group used to be 40 students, most of them African Americans. Such an interesting experience. And I'm also a course developer. Together with my esteemed colleagues, Tatiana Eremeva and Tatiana Feinstein, we've developing a summer course with the school called Film Buff. You might have heard about it.
Хотите постоянно развиваться в преподавании иностранных языков? Школа Дмитрия Никитина проводит образовательные тренинги, конференции и курсы для преподавателей. Подробности о событиях можно узнать по ссылке в описании.
Okay, so before I jump into the presentation, I would like for you to conduct a bit of an experiment with me. So right there next to your screens, while watching, would you mind just standing up? Yes, just do it. Just stand up. I'll wait a bit. You can do it, I know. And once you're up, please turn around like that. Just turn around and look back into the screen. Yay, and sit down. Thank you. Yeah, this was an experiment, and I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and you just mentally answer them for me. First of all, was it easy for you to get up and turn around? Well, I guess it was. I guess it was quite easy. Have you always known how to do this? All your life, you've always known what it means to get up, turn around, and sit down? Probably not, because probably at some point in your very early life, when you were a very tiny little baby, you probably couldn't do that. And it took you some time before you could master this skill, before you stumbled, fell, got up again, fell down, and then finally you mastered the skill of getting up and turning around. Which brings me to this wonderful book by American journalist George Leonard. The book is on mastery, how we can master different things in our lives. And his point is, if you have acquired this quite or seemingly simple skill of walking, jumping, standing up, turning around, ultimately it means that you actually can learn to play the piano, pilot a superjet, manage people, and become an effective communicator, become a linguistic mentor, a teacher to other people as well. Because at some point in your life, you learned how to learn, and you embarked on this journey of mastery. And let's have another experiment with you. Right now, you will need your hand. Yeah, like this, a palm of your hand. And I'm going to pronounce a Russian nursery rhyme, and you just follow my moves. I hope that you know the nursery rhyme. If you don't, you just can repeat after me and follow my moves. It's called Сорока-воровка. Okay, so let's do it together. Сорока-воровка, кашу варила, деток кормила, and we fold our fingers. Этому дала, этому дала, этому дала, этому дала, а этому не дала. Ты в лес не ходил, дрова не рубил, печь не топил, кашу не варил, не дам тебе каши. Well, again, a couple of questions to you. Feel free to mentally answer them. Have you known this nursery rhyme? Yes or no? Well, most of us know it from our early childhood. Did you know it yourself, or did you need somebody to teach you? Well, obviously you needed someone, yes, and probably those were your grandparents, maybe your parents, maybe your siblings, or maybe me today, which means that you had a mentor at a certain moment who taught you this nursery rhyme. Such nursery rhymes are tricky things. They are seemingly simple, and we think that these are just a sequence of gestures that we learn. Maybe some words, syntax, how words are connected together. But additionally, they teach us a whole array of other things, including the intonation patterns, the rhythm of the language, hand-eye coordination, and things like that, which actually means that you didn't only have a mentor who taught you, but you had a linguistic mentor at a certain moment in your life. Funnily enough, such a coincidence it is that right now you are a linguistic mentor and you teach other people. So what do mentors do? Again, they have to fulfill plenty of roles. We are interested in the last three because in these roles, mentors achieve their aims through little else but feedback. So I'm going to talk today about how we can make our students more effective learners and how we can achieve that through feedback. When I hear the word feedback, first thing that springs to mind is this. Most people know what it is. Sandwich feedback consists of three main parts. You praise, you correct your students, and you praise again. So 3 stages. I wonder if you know this one. This is medal and mission, and it consists of 2 levels. The first one is praise, and then further challenge that you provide your students. So you give them a medal, you praise them, and then you give them you pave the way for their future success, providing them with the challenge. What works for myself and my students is a combination of the first and the second approach, and it looks like that. It has 4 distinct stages. The first ones are praise and correction, and the last 2 are mission and praise. And please notice that they are actually interchangeable. It's highly dependable on your student's personality type. Some of them really need additional support, hence you'd probably provide some praise at the very end of your feedback session. However, there are people who are really goal-orientated, and for them it's important to know what is their next step, what the mission is, and you will provide them with this information at the end, and it will stick with them. It will will be retained in their brains. If we look at this meme, a question to you: what kind of feedback is Ross providing? Is it praise, correction, or mission? It's correction, yes. And unfortunately, in our educational institutions, this is mostly what we see as the way of providing feedback. And I think we're here, as educators, we're here to change this tendency. Okay, let me quickly show you how this type of combination of sandwich and medal and mission can work in real life. This is a typical homework that we give to our film buff students. You probably see that there are different options. They feel free to choose any. In this case, my student has chosen this option B. Also, please pay attention to the numbers there. Let me show you the numbers here. And also the actual task that the person had to do. So this is what comes to me later from my student. She has opted for the written form, and the first thing that I would do when I provide my feedback, I would do praise, yes, according to our 4 levels, and I will do it on sentence level. What you see highlighted in green is actually based on the homework criteria. If you remember those 5-7 collocations, I highlight them in green. I praise her for having chosen them and using them correctly in the phrases. And I can also additionally highlight something of her own repertoire that I especially liked. Those can be grammar devices or some vocabulary that she's using nicely there. The next stage comes correction. What you see in purple is what I would probably correct. Everything depends on the level of the student. On higher levels, I do not provide answers. I simply underline and I encourage my students to see what might be wrong with those things and how they might correct them. On lower levels, it's up to you. You can actually do it in a more straightforward fashion and explain what exactly you didn't like in the underlined phrases. Then comes another level of praise. And look, if you remember, she had to create a mini story. So now I can comment on the story level. Do I like the plot? How about the coherence? How about the style? Is there a punchline? Do I like the main idea? Is the story arranged nicely? In here we have 2 paragraphs. Yes, we have some cohesive devices like however. Everything like that I can comment and praise my student on. And finally comes mission. In this particular case, I chose several simple phrases that my student used and asked her to elevate them a little bit and provide me with a more interesting vocabulary, more interesting structures in reply. So let me remind you that the feedback we are talking about today consists of 4, this is the magic number, 4 levels, or we can call them 4 tiers of the cake: praise, correct, praise, and mission, that is providing further challenge.
Хотите постоянно развиваться в преподавании иностранных языков? Школа Дмитрия Никитина проводит образовательные тренинги, конференции и курсы для преподавателей. Подробности о событиях можно узнать по ссылке в описании.
Let's talk about the first 3 main points: praise, correct, praise. Here is another task that I give my advanced students. The actual task is in the red ink. You can have a look at it. But what comes in black ink then? What we see there in black ink, quite a lot of information. This is called success criteria. In essence, success criteria is what I expect my students to come up with. These are my expectations towards my students. Success criteria show them the way to success, what their task should look like so that I'm satisfied. And on this, in success criteria, we can often see a lot of numbers, like here, 3, 4 sentences, 1 of the adjective structures, 2 pieces of new vocabulary, 2 adverbs to modify. Obviously, success criteria help our students. They know what I'm expecting from them. At the same time, they help me a lot as a teacher who provides feedback, because based on the success criteria, I can now talk about plenty of things. I can talk about the length or timing, yeah, if it's an audio message. So if I'm satisfied with the length of the provided text, I can talk about vocabulary. Yes, here they were supposed to use 2 pieces of new vocabulary from this unit. I can comment on devices and grammar, adverbs, complex sentences, adjectives, and I can also talk about different things related to cognitive work that they were supposed to fulfill, like how I like their analysis. Do I see the opinion clearly? The comparison and all other things that they were supposed to do. For example, here they were supposed to choose any of the generated ideas. They had to generate ideas, then choose any of the ideas. So I can comment on their choices here as well. Okay, and let's come to the formative assessment quickly. Formative assessment is when I quickly check if you have been following me and if you understand what's going on, what I'm talking about. So I will ask you 2 questions. Feel free to answer. The first question is this: what's the name of the feedback type where you praise your students and give them further challenge? Do you remember? The answer is medal and mission. The second question: what should your homework description include to facilitate your feedback? We've just been talking about that. It's called success criteria. Great, now we are on the right track there with you. We have discussed 3 first tiers of the feedback cake. Let's come to the final tier called mission. And this level proves to be quite difficult for teachers because we are not used to giving this type of information to our students. We are not used to analyzing deeply what they need next. And let me give you a clear algorithm on how to do it so that we can facilitate it in your teaching. What I like doing with my students are actually 3 distinct things. The first one is questioning, and this is a very tangible, down-to-earth approach. We have touched upon this today a bit. So instead of correction, I will provide some questioning, like, can you change something here or there? There is one article, adjective, verb missing or misplaced extra. Could you find it? Something is wrong with this phrase, with the word order here, maybe the style. Can you change it? So you prompt them to work a bit more and correct their own misgivings. Next thing, I like it a lot. I call it success criteria before our next homework. It's called next time, and it's about my expectations about their performance before they hand in any further task. So next time, and then comes what I expect actually. Next time, try to be more concise. Give the main idea at the very beginning. Add one more paragraph. Be more laconic, etc., etc. Anything that they can change next time. And the final thing is called meanwhile. It's also a way of everyday challenges for them. It looks like this. I can provide a certain task which is extremely closely connected with their learner autonomy, because this is something that they are going to do on their own. I can ask them to read more information about something. Yeah, go through rules on, for example, articles or cohesive devices. Try forming the main idea of every text that you read. And obviously, this type of mission is very broad and it requires their personal discipline, but it also develops their learner autonomy. So why it actually works? Everything I do with feedback is highly dependable on 2 modern approaches in ELT. The first one is demand high approach, which is actually a movement. It was born as a movement in protest to the tendency of entertaining our students instead of just teaching them. The advocates of this approach stress that we are not entertainers. We are here to push our students to higher levels. We are mentors who know when and how to intervene in the learning process so that our students reach new heights. And the second thing that I really like is visible learning approach or visible learning research. You can see the cover of the book on the right. I definitely recommend it to you. The research that John Hattie and other colleagues of his are doing at the moment is extremely important because they collect data from real classrooms and they analyze what actually works in a classroom and what doesn't. One of the main ideas of the book is that learning should be visible to teachers and that teaching should be visible to learners. So if we look at this idea through feedback, we understand that this combination of task plus feedback provides us with all the means of seeing exactly where learning is happening. So learning becomes visible. And if learning is happening, then we praise our students. And if learning is not happening, we intervene. We either correct or we give them further challenge, we give them the mission. And the second part of this idea, when teaching should be visible to learners, is also quite easily achieved through feedback, because being very structured, feedback shows to our students what we as teachers do exactly. We praise, we correct, we praise again on another level, and then we give them further challenge. Let's have a look at two quotes by John Hattie that I really like. The first one is this: the higher the challenge, the higher the probability that one seeks and needs feedback. It's a cycle, you see. You provide feedback, you set some challenge in the feedback, and because it's high enough, your student comes back to you because they need feedback again. And this is successfully, which leads us to successfully meeting and providing challenges. Another thing that I really like is learning is a very personal journey for the teacher and the student. And what can be more personal than personalized feedback that we provide to each and every of our students?
Хотите постоянно развиваться в преподавании иностранных языков? Школа Дмитрия Никитина проводит образовательные тренинги, конференции и курсы для преподавателей. Подробности о событиях можно узнать по ссылке в описании.
Actually, we arrived to the question, the final question, why students want it. We've had this experience at our school that students want this feedback. They come for more. They come back and ask for more. And they say that it is one of the most important parts of any courses that we provide. So why is it? First of all, because this type of feedback is really structured. Again, there are 4 distinct stages to the feedback and they are visible to our students. Then it's really thorough. When we expect our students to do a thorough job with their homework, they have the right to expect that we do a thorough job with our feedback. And if you follow all the 4 stages, you will definitely provide thorough feedback because you will have to give a lot of information to your students. It's also EI-based. EI here stands for emotional intelligence. And it's not only because you understand each and every one of your students psychologically, but it's also because you show them your passion for the language. Yeah, when you know exactly what to say, when you provide the mission part, this is our passion for the language. This is what we understand and what we know and what we want our students to know. And finally, it shows the way forward. Again, this final stage of the mission is extremely important because it paves the way to our students for their future success, for their further developments, and ultimately coming to their aim that they have set for themselves. This is it for today. Thank you very much. You can join our groups at the School of Tatiana Feinstein. Here is the information about myself and the website where you can find the information about our groups. And I hope to see you later. Thank you.